Welcome to the Community Difference Frisco. Powered by the Difference Media LLC. Hosted by Brian Poduska. And sponsored by Real Property Management Focus. Certainty Home Lending. Donovan Creative Agency. Stewart Title. The Frisco Fighters Arena Football Team. Total Care. PBJ Mortgage. And by Team Watson Redeemers. The Community Difference Frisco
was created to serve as a platform for local leaders and business professionals to showcase their expertise, values, and commitment to their community. Overall, the podcast aims to create a stronger sense of community in North Texas by highlighting the often overlooked or unnoticed good work being done by local leaders, businesses, and professionals.
So sit back and relax as our host, co-host, and their guests share inspirational stories, experiences, thoughts, and insights about being a professional, along with the opportunities for our businesses to serve our communities in very special ways. Because the Community Difference Frisco starts now.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. How are we all doing today? It is Thursday. We are nearing the end of the week, and we have a new month. It is February. Happy February 1st. Happy February to those who have done dry January. So I don't know if this qualifies as wet February, but we are here in February. Great time to kick off a new business topic. So what we do, first of all, welcome to the North Texas Community Difference Frisco version. And what this is it's a community show. We put the spotlight on local business owners, entrepreneurs, political leaders, Frisco ISD leadership, nonprofit leadership, and sports leadership here in Sports City, USA, Frisco, right? So we have rotating co-hosts every week, along with our business topic of the month. And since we are in a new month of February, our topic of the month is leveraging social media to increase brand awareness and customer engagement locally. So excited to have our co-host on today. We have Ethan, who is subbing in today and is a social media expert. So excited to have him on the show today. This is a great topic for him to be part of. So couldn't have a better sub co-host today. And then Jacqueline Kreider, who hopefully will be with us. I know she was running in from a late lunch appointment. So she may or may not be with us. If she doesn't join us, her ops manager will for at least a short period of time. So look forward to having both of them on, and then also our guest of the day. So Lennon, without further ado, let's go ahead and bring everybody into the screen if we can. What's up, guys? How we doing?
Good.
Hey,
Doing
great. Good.
Fantastic. All right, so Jacqueline hasn't made it yet. I can see we don't have Jacqueline, but
Not yet.
No, that's cool. So it's great that she has a great staff to fill in for her. Why don't you introduce yourself, because we didn't even get to the formal introductions behind backstage before we came on.
Well, I'm Patrick Bestie. I'm actually Jacqueline's operations manager. I'm also a loan officer licensed. Take care of a lot of the things in the back end and make sure the loans go through smoothly.
Awesome. Yeah. So, and Jacqueline's been on previous shows. So I think this is her second or third time around in the rotation. So, hopefully folks have seen Jacqueline before, but PBJ Mortgage tagline is making mortgage simple. So that's what
making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
That's right. That's right. I love that tagline. I love that. I love that analogy every time. And then Ethan Donovan, who is officially the newest member of the co-hosting crew. Ethan, why don't you give the audience an introduction and what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me here, Brian. But my name is Ethan Donovan. I own my own creative agency, so we do marketing, graphic design, video editing. We come to you. We come up with all the content ideas, film it with you, whether you want graphics or videos. We own the entire Adobe Creative Suite. So whatever you guys are looking for, we do. And then that's really it. I mean, volume, baby. Get your volume up on social media. That's all that matters.
Amen to that. And that's what we're all about here, right? We're basically doing spotlights on businesses locally, community based. We're doing it online, right? We're doing it
Yep.
with a podcast, and we broadcast it over live on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, a few other different places. Then we blast it out to 75 plus different, I believe,
Absolutely.
streaming services as well. So all of that goes into playing into the SEO building.
Absolutely.
All of that, like you said, stacking them all up, getting that volume up. So,
Yep. The more the better.
yes, amen. So that's what we do here at The Difference, in addition to networking online, overall business development. So a lot of great things coming out from The Difference. But specific to the community show, this is where we have the opportunity to bring in guests and allow them to spotlight businesses. So, Jared, I'd like to allow you a little bit of time to introduce yourself and tell the audience about what you do.
You bet. I'm Dr. Jared Wilson, doctor of chiropractic, and I specialize in the treatment of sports injury, sports recovery, injury prevention, as well as in the treatment of neuropathy, which is numbness, tingling, burning in the feet due to the nerves in your legs and feet dying. And then we also help with the treatment of degenerative arthritis, specifically, in the back and the knees.
Okay. Well, that's obviously a growing situation and affliction.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah.
It's they actually expect that roughly it's like 100 million people suffer from knee pain, and neuropathy is just on the rise. Whether that's from poor health, whether it's from traumatic injury, what have you, it's also on the rise. And the downside is the neuropathy stuff that kills people.
Yeah, no doubt. So great. Well, we will dive a little bit more into this, some of the science behind what you do. And I was joking around, backstage. It's not a laughing matter. We weren't literally joking, but we've all experienced something, whether it's sport related injury or just sports related recovery, because we are big old sports nerds on the show. So we could be frequent flyers to your location. Not that
That's
we
the
want
idea.
to be. Yeah. So Jacqueline, great to see you sliding in, coming off a hot lunch appointment.
I know. Sorry about that, man. Actually, Frisco traffic's not too bad, but there's just a lot of road construction. So, as life would have it. But yeah, we're gonna say about Jared what we say about Chance all the time, right? We need them, but we don't want to need them.
That's right.
Because
Exactly.
Chance deals with the ER piece, and so he's like, "You don't want to have to come see me," and I'm like, "Yeah, you're right. I don't want to see you, really."
No, but if you do, just know that you're gonna get taken care of.
Exactly, but we have the best people, right? So that's
Right.
what matters, is that we know who we can see when stuff doesn't go right.
We need to know who to have on speed dial when the need arises.
Exactly.
Yep, exactly.
So Jacqueline, give the audience a real quick overview of what your business is. It was great to have your ops managers stand in for you, but give the formal.
Yes, of course. So I run PBJ Mortgage, where we are making mortgage simple as making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Obviously, that finance transaction when you buy a house, unfortunately, most of the time you need us. I hope you have enough cash where you don't need me, but a lot of people don't. And so we're going to try to take that process and simplify it down, make it as easy as possible for you. And we're going to kind of educate you about, the different kinds of products. We're going to empathize with where you're at, and then we're going to empower you to make the best decision. And we're going to drill it down to a couple of simple choices as opposed to so many different options, if you will. And that's kind of the heart of our business.
Fantastic. Well, like I said, thanks for joining us. I'm glad you could make it. This is, as you know, we are a live show, so you get to see the shift change going live. Just like hopping over the hockey boards, you guys, you're changing seats as we're live. So glad you were able to join us. Right now, we're going to take a real quick break, and on the back end, we're going to talk about what's up in Frisco.
The Community Difference Frisco is made possible by Brian Poduska, owner of Real Property Management Focus, Paul Fisher, Loan Officer with Certainty Home Lending. Debbie Watson with Team Watson Redeemers. Kendra Kennedy with Stewart Title. Ethan Donovan with Donovan Creative Agency. Jacqueline Kreider with PBJ Mortgage. Chance Post with Total Care ER and Total Care Networking. Matt England, Director of Corporate Partnerships, and Andre Coles, Head Coach of the Frisco Fighters Arena Football Team. The Community Difference Frisco. Together, we can make the difference. And now, back to the show.
Are you ready?
Because it's time for
What's up, Frisco?
All right, love our sounder. Love how it just incorporates really nicely coming off of that break. So this is What's Up Frisco. We've got a few exciting things that aren't necessarily just things you're going to search up and find off the internet. So Ethan, I know we've got a really exciting business partner that we both know who's opening a business, and you want to give them some heads up. So I'll turn it over to you real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've known this guy for about a year now, and he does an amazing job. His name's Chef Nick. He's finally opening his own restaurant. So give him a check at the grand opening. It's open February 8th at 4 p.m. Over 1,000 RSVPs are going. So it'll be quite a party. I don't know how he's going to fit that many in there. But everybody's parking over at FC Dallas just to get there. Like, that's how many people are showing up to show Chef Nick all the love and kind of attention, because he's been really, really active within the Frisco community for a while now.
Yeah, he's done a ton of great things in the community. He's catered a lot of really awesome events. He's donated a lot to the community. Like you mentioned, they're finally opening a brick and mortar location that's right off of Main Street in downtown Frisco.
What kind of food is it, y'all?
It's a variety. He really makes anything. You can cater. He has like a huge menu. Like, he makes anything and everything. He does a great job.
I'm actually excited to see how he's going to actually set his menu, because his skills go across all kinds of different types of food. So it's not just Italian. It's not just, whatever specific food. It's not just barbecue, though I know he's done both of those. So, so it's right out. I can't remember the street, but it's right across from the FC Dallas Stadium the Soccer Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Right there off of Main Street in the new downtown Frisco. So check that out. It's February 8th, right, Ethan?
Yes, February 8th at 4 p.m. And then
4 p.m. is their ribbon cutting. And good luck finding a parking spot, because I know he's got over 1,000 RSVPs that people said they'd be there. So get there early, get there often, as they say in the voting booths in Chicago. So thanks for sharing that. I know I've got a couple that I wanted to call out. We've been talking about this since our inaugural show, 9 episodes ago. And this is the Miss Frisco Scholarship Pageant. It is actually happening here, coming in a couple short weeks. It's on Saturday, February 17th, 6:30 to 9:30 p.m. This is a fundraising. Fundraising is continuing for this, but it is a scholarship that is going to the winner, and I believe maybe second and third place as well. But it's open to young women in Frisco. They've actually already had the selection happening, so I think we're down to the final 12. And the actual coronation is happening, like I said, Saturday, February 17th. It's at Verona Villa in Frisco off the Tollway and Lebanon. So, or actually, I should say Tollway and Stonebrook. So check that out. Jason Young, who owns Verona Villa, was on our first show. Go support his location and support the pageant. And then also, kind of a big game in college football, one of the final ones. It's the East-West Shrine Bowl. I believe this is the 99th version of this bowl, so it's kind of a big deal. This is basically college all-stars who are graduating and looking to go into the NFL, hopefully, or any other professional football feeder league. And that is happening tonight, Thursday, February 1st. Tickets are like $20, so that's super affordable. It's over at the Ford Center at the Star. It's a short, couple drives, golf drives from where I'm currently broadcasting from. 7 p.m. Central. Again, tonight, February 1st, the East-West Shrine Bowl. So check that out if you're able. It's a great venue. Ford Center is a super cool place. It seats about 12,000 people. Hopefully it'll be packed tonight. But that's what I have. Jacqueline, do you have anything for What's Up Frisco?
No, I think there's some more stuff coming up in spring. I feel like that now today is like inspiring, right? Like a spring mood, spring feelings or whatever. So I just would highly recommend it's patio weather, y'all. You guys should be getting out there because we're gonna get one more cold snap before this whole thing is said and done. We always do.
Yeah, for those not in the area here, it's been like low 70s for the last 3 days, and it will continue through the morning tomorrow, which, like you said, it's that time where you just want to get out and walk or do whatever outside. Yep. I guarantee you we'll have at least one more freeze and hopefully not a snow, but I guarantee we'll have one because it could be 20 degrees, 10 degrees next week.
It always happens right at the end of February, beginning of March, because one of my stepdaughter's birthday is March 6th. And inevitably, anytime we planned a party for her, there was a freeze that weekend, like every single time. Like, I'm like,
week, I was going to say that some of the coldest days of the year always happen in March.
Yep. Just the very beginning of March, like that literal, like very end of February, beginning of March. It's always when the trouble comes.
And then
so
the crazy part is,
I mean, look, guys, I'm in a tank top. So if you're wondering if you should move to Frisco and you live somewhere cold, this is evidence. It's February 1st and I'm in a tank top. Just so we're clear.
The crazy part is after it's cold, like not even like 2 days later, it's like 70 degrees again. It's 80 degrees.
Well, exactly.
Like it's already hot. Like you're getting ready for the summer.
Love it.
Yeah, what was it? Like when AT&T Stadium was new and they hosted the Super Bowl and Jerry hosted the Super Bowl, it was what, 2011 or something like that, 2010?
I don't know, but that was one of the one times that we had like a bunch of days of ice in a row.
Yes.
I mean, I've lived here my whole life. And like literally we had like 5 days of ice in a row. And I was like, only when Jerry decided to do the Super Bowl in Dallas would we have this many days of ice in a row.
And
wasn't Green Bay in that one?
I think so, yeah. So they were at home, but it was like, I think it was literally the same week, right? So we're now having 70 degree days. They had ice for literally 4 or 5 days, and the entire NFL and all the media and everything, just came to Dallas, and we're like, what? Where are we? What is this? I also recall a day, I think it might have been last year, 2 years ago, very similar to what we have today, where we're in the mid 70s, and then literally the next day it was in the teens. So it was like a 70 or, whatever, 65 or 70 degree drop in one day, which is ridiculous.
I think one time in January, it was like almost 90 degrees, like on 1 week, which was the weirdest thing ever. Like you all could be swimming in your pool. And then I'm pretty sure the next week it was like 30 or 40 or something. And I want to be like, only in Texas would we make a 60 degree drop in like less than 3 or 4 days.
Well, it's it wouldn't be fun if it wasn't crazy weather, right? So
at least we're not scraping the white stuff off of our cars for months at a time.
This is
That's
true.
The thing. Like I like the snow, but only to like look at it and play in it for about a week. And I don't want to like live in it. I just like want to go visit somewhere else and play in it and then come back here.
I'm glad I don't have to shovel snow. That's
one day of playing in the snow is sufficient.
Exactly.
I don't need a week.
Yeah. Well, hey, but Jared, if you had more ice and snow, then you might have a little more patience. So I don't know. Maybe pro con for you.
That'd be coming in. My back is
see,
already.
There's a flip side to that because when it is cold, nobody goes anywhere. So they don't come in anyway. And so it's like, I don't work for a week. And, while that's sometimes nice, all I can sit there and think of is like, well, we didn't make any money today. So that stinks.
Well, hey, on that note, Jared, what we always like to do is just get, the story of your business and you, right?
Yeah.
Conveyed to our audience and just get to know you a little bit better. So if you don't mind, just share with us, what inspired you to start your business. And then I guess the second part of that is, why did you pick Frisco, right? or the Frisco area.
Sure.
So if you don't mind, just tell us a story. I love hearing these.
You bet. So I knew at the age of 14 that I wanted to be a chiropractor, and I knew I wanted to do something with people, and so whether that was was chiropractor or just something, and I started looking at all the different professions that were out there, and I remembered as a kid I had a good friend who was a chiropractor, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna start diving into this a little bit more. And I realized that this was an awesome intervention for people who are suffering. And I didn't love the idea of being a surgeon. I could handle my own blood, but other people, I was like, I'm not sure about that one. Funny thing is as you go along, like stuff like that doesn't bother me anymore. But when you're a 14-year-old kid trying to figure out what you want to do for the rest of your life, that played a factor. And so I went down the rabbit hole with it. Everything that happened, and I entered chiropractic school 20 years ago this spring, or this fall, and I graduated from the University of Western States, which is a chiropractic school in Portland, Oregon, which is the state of where I'm from. I grew up in Oregon, born and raised, and in 2010, I opened my own practice after working for somebody else for a couple of years. And 13 years later, or I should say 12 years later, in 2022, my wife and I kind of got an itch of like, we need to move. We weren't sure why or where, because I was like, I have this established practice. Leaving it is kind of financial suicide. Like, what are we doing? Why on earth are we doing this? I finally have this thing where I want it. But sure enough, that feeling wouldn't go away. And so I reached out to one of my siblings. I'm the seventh of 10 children, by the way.
Wow.
And my youngest sister.
That's a lot of siblings.
It's very busy in my house growing up. But I reached out to one of my sisters, and she had lived in Arizona for a long time. So like I'm looking at states where, it's relatively easy to get licensed. I hate taking exams. So I asked her about Arizona because she'd lived there for 12 years, and she's like, yeah, Arizona was great. She's like, but out of curiosity, why do you ask? And I was like, well, we're looking to move out of the state. Want to do something different. And she told me then, she goes, well, we're moving to Texas. And so I was like, okay, well, where? And so she's like, well, we're looking at the North Dallas, north of Frisco, kind of like, prosperous Salina area. And so we're like, well, okay, well, if we're going to move, I might as well move by where I have family. And so my wife and I flew out here 2 years ago, last weekend, actually, and looked around, fell in love, bought a house in Salina, and then I started looking. I was like, where do I want to open a practice? And Little Elm is where I'm at. And for those who may not know, that's just west of Frisco, off you'll hit on El Dorado Parkway there.
You're almost on the border, aren't you, Jared?
Yeah, I'm like 5 minutes from Frisco.
Yeah.
Really. And just found a spot, felt right. A lot of answers to some prayers, and just started cold. And we're just trying to build this thing up to where I know it can be, and in the process, like I said, help a lot of people. For those people, for people who don't understand, opioid use is an epidemic. Painkillers is just, it's horrible. And ibuprofen isn't as safe as people think it is. The same things with aspirin and Tylenol. Chronic use of those things just destroys your stomach and your kidneys. And chiropractic has been proven to be one of the best interventions for back pain, headaches, and then now a lot of us in my profession are starting to treat things like degenerative joint disease and degenerative arthritis, and neuropathy. Neuropathy is a killer. I mean, that people don't understand that's not as innocuous disease. It will kill you. It's not an if, it's a when. And the reality is the modern way of treating it right now is just it delays death, because it's like, hey, take this drug, it's going to help with the pain. Yep, it is, but it's not going to stop it. And really what got me into neuropathy treatment was I had a patient die from her neuropathy. She had really bad diabetes. She'd already had 2 toes amputated, and by the time they realized how bad some of the things got, she had a wound, went septic, and she was dead within a couple of days.
Wow.
And yeah, it's rough. It is not a fun way to go. It's a brutal disease, but it is treatable. Most people, when they go to their medical doctor, they're going to get, or their neurologist, and they're going to get the whole, there's nothing we can do. Here's this drug. As it progresses, we'll start cutting things off.
Yep.
And that's the reality of that. Whereas we take a completely different approach to a lot of these things, so that you don't have to have surgery or die.
Well, I was going to say, so you guys probably don't know this, but my husband has some major ailments from his time in the Corps, including some serious injury to his back and his spinal column and things like that. And he couldn't feel his feet for like years until he saw a chiropractor. And it was through the help of chiropractics that he actually started getting feeling back in his feet. Yeah. So a lot of people think like, oh, chiropractic is like kind of quacky or whatever. It's really not true. Like, it really uses your own body to try to help heal itself, if you will.
Yes. I mean, your body is designed to fix itself.
Correct.
From just about everything, but it has to be in a position to do that.
Right.
And, again, there's a lot of just misunderstanding and whatnot out there, but, we're trying to, get rid of that, which is why I'm here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like how you talked about the Aleve, the Tylenol, all that. Because as an athlete, I didn't know what I was doing when it came to pain meds. Like, obviously, it says on the bottle, take this amount. Yep. So I played hockey, tier 1, like it was full blown. We're playing every day. Yep. Off season isn't a thing. Off season wasn't a thing. You play 9 months around, and then you go to camps the rest of the season. So when it came to me and my back, when I was 14, I mean, I'm taking Motrin and Tylenol every day. I was taking it every day. And nobody ever told me like, hey, you can't take it every day.
Right. You should be careful.
Yeah. So I didn't know what I was going into it. And so, a couple of years later, now I've had 2 broken backs, 2 degenerative discs, torn fiber muscles in my back, lower back, my S5 and L4 or S1 and L4 or whatever. Just all that stuff. It adds up. And I didn't realize, because I'm so young, like I didn't think that it would, I guess, catch up to me that fast. I don't know.
It's not going to get you.
Right.
But you're lucky that you are so young, because what'll happen is that your body has an easier time regenerating now than when you start going down the path of getting older. And usually by the time you don't really pay attention to it, good thing you're paying attention to it now, because usually you don't pay attention to it till you get to be like 40s, 50s. And then at that point, it's not that your body can't fix itself. It just takes a lot longer and a lot more time with Dr. Jared to fix your problem. Whereas like when you're your age, you could probably do a little less treatments and things like that and get fixed a lot easier, which is a positive.
Because your body's making more,
since I was 14.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, your body's still regenerating at a much faster rate than say when you're 60.
Absolutely.
Like it slows down, and as you get older, things stop working as well. Yeah. It's just how it is.
Yeah.
Just wait, Ethan, you too can sleep wrong one night and screw up your body for the rest of the week. That's where the rest of us are at. You're not there, but the rest of us
I might be there. I'm a stomach sleeper, and that's bad for the back.
Oh, don't. They got to stop that. Stop sleeping on your stomach.
Yeah. So I do my best to stay on the side. I do my best to stay on my side.
Good man.
If you've learned nothing else today, then know that you should not be sleeping on your stomach. I didn't know that.
No, because
I didn't know that, but I can't sleep on my stomach anyway. That would not be.
It forces your back into hyperextension.
Yep.
And so you create these pinch points along the back of your spine when you do that.
Yeah, and I have lordosis, which is a natural curve. Instead of side to side like scoliosis, it's where it's actually kind of goes in a little and then up. So down here where my S1 through 5 is, that's where my pain point is because I'm always arched and hyperflexed.
Yep, you have a little hyperlordosis there.
Yep.
Well, hey guys, let's continue this conversation on the backside. We do have to take a quick commercial break, but I've got a few science nerd type questions for Jared,
Absolutely.
which I'm sure he'd be happy to dive into. So let's do that after the break.
Nerd out.
Yep.
Frisco Fighters prepare to reach new heights at Comerica Center this spring. From competitive matchups to exciting theme nights, you won't want to miss a second of the action. Join us and experience high-scoring, hard-hitting indoor football that's fun for the whole family to enjoy. Visit FriscoFighters.com for game highlights, tickets, or to reserve your spot at the Tarmac Tailgate Party. Frisco Fighters, fly with us.
The Community Difference Series is proud to partner with the Frisco Fighters indoor football team. Tune in each week to all of our shows to win tickets to the games starting in February. And a big shout out to all of our Community Difference Series sponsors.
All right, welcome back. So you started talking, Jared, about neuropathy, and it's something I don't know much about. I don't think I've ever encountered any of the symptoms, but it made me curious. Like, I guess, what is it? Number one. Number two, what causes it? And then number three, obviously you offer treatment for it, but when do people need to come see you?
Okay, perfect. So before I dive into that, I do find this actually kind of funny. I am actually the chiropractor for the Frisco Fighters.
Oh, look at this.
Wow.
Yeah,
There you go.
I thought that was pretty cool. Okay, so what is neuropathy? Okay. So neuropathy is when the nerves in the periphery, okay, meaning like arms, hands, legs, feet, they start to die. Okay. When the nerves start to die, they shrivel, right? So they're not extending as deep as they should. And that usually results from lack of blood flow and stimulation. Okay. So what typically causes neuropathy? All right. Number one is typically type 2 diabetes. All right.
I was going to say that's lack of circulation. Is that what's
Yeah.
that? My dad's struggling with this big time. He has type 2 and he's having trouble feeling his feet and he gets cold on his feet and stuff like that.
Yep. So type 2 diabetes is the top one. Okay. And again, what does diabetes do? Diabetes creates chronic inflammation throughout the body. All right. This is actually why type 2 diabetics have to be very careful about their kidneys. They have to be careful about their eyes and their feet. And so you can develop what is known as, what is it? A diabetic retinopathy. So basically the back of the eyeball becomes damaged. These people will eventually, if nothing is done, have a very high likelihood of going blind as a result. And then their kidneys can get damaged. They wind up having to go on dialysis because their kidneys aren't functioning anymore, or at least not well enough. And then as far as like the extremities, like hands and feet, they'll feel like Jacqueline was saying, the numbness, burning, tingling. They feel like they're walking on like pins and needles all the time. It's horrible. I mean, it's just absolutely horrific pain because there really isn't a lot of relief out there. I mean, we're talking people will be on like really high doses of painkillers. And funny thing is I actually learned this. So the number one treatment for neuropathy is a drug called gabapentin. All right. So if you know anybody who has neuropathy, chances are they know what gabapentin is. All right. Gabapentin is not actually FDA cleared to treat neuropathy. It's an antidepressant.
I was going to say, I know of it, but I didn't know of it from the neuropathy standpoint. I know of it from an antidepressant standpoint because psychiatrists sometimes will prescribe it for antidepressants or to deal with restlessness of the body. Right.
And that's why they prescribe the gabapentin, because it calms things down. But man, they give that stuff out like candy for nerve pain. but it's not really doing anything other than treating the symptom. Okay. And so how do you, and so what was your other question, Brian? It was,
Basically, when do people need to know to come to
thank
you?
they need to start coming to me immediately, as soon as they recognize that there's something wrong. Most people, like, your body's talking to you the whole time. And so if you're like, hey, my feet are feeling kind of nummy or burny, man, right then, that's the time. Don't wait. Because once you have it, that's it. You got it. And it doesn't matter if it's like, oh, well, I barely have any problem. It's like, guess what? You have neuropathy now. And if nothing's done, it will progress and it will worsen. Now, you want to make yourself sick? Go Google search diabetic neuropathy of the feet. Have a strong stomach. Okay. Have a strong stomach, because it is not pretty. I've seen people just, we're talking wounds this big.
I was gonna say it's the reason why a lot of people who are diabetic lose like toes and fingers and things like that, right?
That's why they start amputating, because what'll happen is, going back to the blood flow issue, if blood isn't getting everywhere, then the tissues start to die, because blood brings oxygen and nutrients. But without those things, your cells die. When they die, they necrose, and when they necrose, wounds form. They're going to find that the wounds they do get are very, very slow to heal. Stuff that should have taken like a couple of days to go away, they've now had it for a month, and it's just not getting better. Or if it is, it's so slow that the likelihood of getting a recurring infection just ramps up. And so, it's a scary disease. And I think one of the reasons why a lot of people put it off is they're afraid to hear that that's what they have. They figure if they can just continue to ignore it, then, hey, I'm okay. I'm going to be fine. And it's one of those, no, you're not going to be fine.
So by using chiropractic services, does it basically reconnect some of the nerves that are trying to die? Like, what is it? How is it positively affecting it? That's what I'm trying to understand. Is obviously I know it's affecting it, but like how is that fixing the problem?
So believe it or not, there's actually very little adjusting involved with people who have neuropathy. It's mostly our adjunctive services. So what are we trying to do? We're trying to increase blood flow into those extremities. We're trying to get the nervous system to wake back up. And so typically we do a lot of infrared therapy. There's a lot of active exercise. We have a neurostimulator that we use that's specifically designed for neuropathy. So it's a lot of stuff. And I actually have a patient who I set him up at home. I was like, I don't think you need to come see me. I was like, because he was still capable of being active. He could walk. He didn't need assistance with those kinds of things. And so I was like, hey, I want you to do these exercises at home. I want you to be using this equipment at home, these supplements at home, and let's talk every 2 to 3 weeks. And we did that. And, really after about 12 weeks, he came in, we did a reevaluation on him, and I was like, dude, all of your sensation is back. You can feel everything again. And I was like, how are you doing? And he goes, man, I feel great. He's like, my feet don't hurt. I have no pain.
That's awesome.
And I'm sleeping again at night. And so I was like, well, that's awesome. We were actually able to stop this thing in its tracks and reverse it. Now I'm not promising we can do that with everybody.
Sure.
But it's possible. That's why it's important you catch it early.
Yeah.
Instead of like, hey, well, I've been living with neuropathy for 20 years now, and my feet are blue. I can't feel anything, and I'm worried that they're going to start taking my toes next, and then my feet. And the downside is once they amputate to the knee, they stop. There's nothing more they're going to do for you, because we're going to wait for you to die. So
is it typically feet because it's the farthest place away from your heart? Is that why?
That's why the feet are most affected. It's the farthest from the heart. It's why the hands can typically get affected, but they're closer. And
Right.
so, that
And you're moving them maybe more, right?
yes, because again, where do we see this more often? It's people who are sedentary.
Right. Yeah, they're not moving around a lot.
Yes, sedentary lifestyles. They're not moving a lot, or they have co-factors. They have other issues happening that have led to this stuff. Because, like I said, it can also be caused by trauma. I've seen people who come in with neuropathy, and no diabetes. Their history's clean. We take an X-ray, and their L5S1 instead of being here, it's there.
Mm.
Wow.
And so there's no space for the nerves to exist anymore. And so the nerves are
Well, yeah, that's like my
clamped
husband.
down.
My husband doesn't have diabetes, but because of his time in the Corps and he had a horrible car accident, and he also carried a 100-part artillery shell on each shoulder. I mean, it jacked up his back so badly that it's affecting massively the all the nerve endings in his legs and his feet.
It adds up. It definitely adds up.
So overall, what's like the age range for neuropathy? Like, is there any like demographic as far as like age goes when you can get it, when you, I guess, can't get it?
So you can get neuropathy at any time.
Anytime.
I mean, you can. I mean, again, the situations have to be correct, but you can literally get it at any time. You're not really going to see it in young people.
Right.
They're too active, what have you. The typical demographic where we're going to see this in is the 50 plus crowd. Okay, that's your usual demographic where we're gonna see this kind of stuff happening, and the reason being is because they've lived with it. Life has happened to them, like Jacqueline's husband. Life happened to them. And
well, and I mean, even with him, he's in his late 40s, but like, let's be real, he sort of ignored his body for a long time because he was a Marine, and I can just figure it out, and I'm tough, and I'm like, yeah, babe, I love you a lot, but remind yourself, we have a 2-year-old, right? And like, she still wants dad to chase her around. You're not going to be able to do that if you don't handle some of these more complex issues and problems.
Right. And that's what I try to. That's the education I try to give. To folks as far as the neuropathy goes, or the knee pain kind of stuff goes. It's like, look, what do you want your future to look like? Do you want to be able to chase your grandkids around?
Right.
Or are you going to be the grandparent that's known as like, well, they're the one that shows up and just sits down?
Yeah.
Well, but also it's nice that like what you do can like actually reverse it, because I think what a lot of people don't like is that they go like, I mean, I'll be real. My husband deals with the VA all the time, and all they want to do is just prescribe him medicine. Like, here you go. Let me prescribe you 900 different pills. I mean, you guys should see how much crap they give him. And he's like, first of all, half of it doesn't really work. Or if it does work, it only works for a very small amount of time because he metabolizes medicine really quickly. So, like, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I've got a question. You mentioned the knee pain too. I've had knee pain for years, and it comes and goes, and I've learned how to, what inflames it, I guess.
Yeah.
And I've had MRIs on my knee done. I've had, torn MCLs and an ACL, but basically what I'm facing right now is a lack of cartilage in the knee.
Yep.
And both knees.
Yep.
Do you treat something like that to prolong or to avoid, I guess, a knee replacement?
100%. Yes, sir. So I actually have degenerative arthritis in my right knee. I blew it out when I was playing basketball in my mid-20s, and we went to have surgery because that's what they say. Yeah, you're supposed to have surgery. You tear your ACL and you tear your meniscus up. You should have surgery for that. So I was like, okay. So I did. Had my ACL replaced. They removed 60% of my medial meniscus. I got like 10 PT visits, and that was it. And I was like, I was told, good luck. Nobody tells you that, you lose half your medial meniscus, your knee is going to start to degenerate.
Yeah, it doesn't come back. Yep.
It's not coming back on its own.
Jared, real quick, I want to hear the rest of the story on the back, and we're going to have to take a break real quick, but I want to hear the rest of that. And then I also want to understand what you're doing for the fighters, because we've got
Absolutely.
a lot of good tie-ins there. So let's talk about that here after this quick break.
Perfect.
And now a word from a few of our amazing sponsors that make the Difference Radio, live stream, and podcast network possible.
JP Direct Health offers affordable health insurance solutions for individuals, families, and small businesses specializing in custom coverages to fit your needs and budget. JP Direct Health offers comprehensive benefits, including PPO health plans, accident and critical illness coverage, dental and vision, health matching accounts, along with telehealth at no cost per call. Call JP Direct Health today to learn more about how we can help you protect your health and your budget.
Do you want your home or office to sparkle? Then call Elite Diamond Cleaning today. From basic cleaning to deep cleaning, and using only the highest quality cleaning products and equipment, your satisfaction is guaranteed. Our team of experienced cleaners will work quickly and efficiently to clean every nook and cranny, taking care of all the details so you don't have to. With a variety of pricing options to fit any budget, you can be sure that you are getting the best possible price. Call Elite Diamond Cleaning today at 214-300-9876 to schedule a free estimate. Your home and office is a diamond. Let us get it out of the dust.
Are you looking for new or more reliable and affordable home services? Look no further than Utility Connect. At Utility Connect, we understand that every customer is different. Thanks to our partnership with The Difference, our free concierge service seamlessly shops all of your utilities and services for your home or business with one easy phone call. So what are you waiting for? Call Utility Connect today and experience the difference. For more information, give us a call at 469-414-2033 or visit us at www.utilityconnect.net/thedifference to learn more.
Are you a business owner looking to grow your company? Get fast, easy financing up to $5 million with no minimum FICO score required. Apply in 60 seconds and get funded in 24 hours. Call Jim Thomas at 214-629-7223 to talk to a financing professional today. Your business's future is waiting. So don't delay. Call now and tell him that you saw him on The Difference.
And now back to the show.
All right, welcome back, everybody. For those who may or may not know where we were previous to the commercial break, we were talking about knee pain. The other thing that I want to talk about is the Frisco Fighters. They are one of our sponsors of our show. We have a co-host on the show, head coach of the Frisco Fighters, Andre Coles. He'll be on in, I think, a couple weeks. So I do want to explore what you're doing for the Frisco Fighters, because I didn't know that you guys were supporting them. So this is great. Yeah. Where, hey, we're just connecting through, various different co-host relationships and networking opportunities. And here we are, we've got a connection. So I do want to explore that, but let's put a bow real quick on that knee pain, because I think it's very common out there for former athletes. Myself, I never had knee pain until I got a little bit older and I ran a marathon and did some stupid stuff as far as just putting wear and tear on my knees in my 20s and 30s. And then when I hit my 40s, that's when it really started flaring up. So I think we left off on, you had a kind of a traumatic knee injury. They took out a good portion of your meniscus. Let's pick it up from there.
You bet. So, fast forward a couple of years ago, and my wife, my family, and I, we're on vacation. We're out walking around, and my knee is just killing me. It's throbbing, it's swollen. I can barely bend it to 90 degrees, and I just look at my wife. I'm like, I got to do something about this. It's like, this is just, I can't live like this. It's like I'm in my early 40s. And so I just started thinking, like, man, am I gonna have to drain my knee every couple of weeks just so I can walk? And then I started looking into some stuff, and so I came across a way to start treating these kind of problems. And so I started off on myself, and I immediately noticed a difference because I started to realize, I was like, okay, there's multiple things wrong here. Number one is his knees don't get a lot of blood. So we got to increase the amount of blood flow my body is producing to that area. 2, it is swollen. It is irritated. So that's where we started using, again, going back to some high-powered infrared therapy. If you've never had infrared therapy, by the way, it's amazing. It really does help with pain and inflammation in the body. And I also have a state-of-the-art knee decompression machine. All it does is it does knees. My knee
Bet
feels
you
like
get
a
good use out of
million.
that with the fighters.
My knee feels like $1 million when I get off of that thing. It feels amazing. And then obviously we correct any structural problems. A lot of times the knee will actually become what in the chiropractic world, subluxated. So the knee will actually just, instead of sitting right, it kind of will just slightly rotate. And like any hinge joint, when that happens, it will grind. And so, with all the things that we do in our clinic for that, is it going to ever be perfect again? No, I can't guarantee that it will ever be 100%. But I've gotten people pain free. One of the great success stories I use is, along with myself. I have a 77-year-old woman. Came in, both of her knees were killing her. Doctors told her she needed to have her knees replaced. She didn't want to do that. We took an X-ray, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, like your knees are bad. I was like, I can see why they're telling you need to have knees replaced because you're bone on bone. She said, yep, they grind, they pop, they click. Walking hurts. Stairs are horrible. Getting in and out of her car is a struggle. 3 months after we were done with her, she's like, I'm dancing. I can walk around. It's been, I think, a year at this point. I actually just saw her, I think, about a month ago. She came in for a follow-up, some maintenance care for her knees. And I was like, how you doing? She goes, I feel great. She's like, I have no pain. And chances are she's never going to need that knee replacement now.
Nice.
And so that's what we're shooting for is, even if you get them replaced, even if you get your knees replaced, well, guess what? There's things you can't do anymore. You're done. And if you're somebody like Brian, like yourself, or myself, or Ethan, even you, who are now we're weekend warrior athletes, you replace those knees and that's gone. Those are done.
Yeah.
You're not playing sports anymore. It's over.
Yeah.
And honestly, upwards of 50% of knee replacements don't help. They don't work. You're not.
Back surgeries, it's like 50-50 split. It's horrible.
Actually, back surgery is worse. It's 30% get better, 30% get worse, and 30% stay the exact same.
Wow.
And so,
I mean, it's why athletes, like the fighters, like try to seek out people like you, because I mean, exactly that. Like that's why my husband's never had a back surgery, because he's like, why make it worse?
Yeah.
Let's talk about that, because I'm curious. Professional football organization like the Frisco Fighters, you partner with them.
Yep.
What are they coming to you with, and what are you doing for them? Because I mean, heck, talk about hockey and football are two of the toughest sports as far as collisions and all the resulting injuries that come from that. So let's talk about that.
So obviously, a lot of knee stuff.
Yeah.
Especially the linemen. The biggest issue those guys come to me with is joint mobility, because they're doing the exact same motion over and over and over again. I remember last year I was working with one of their D linemen, and I was talking about his hips. I was like, your hips are just not opening like they should. Because I was like, I told him, I was like, get in your 3-point stance. He goes, okay. Pops right down. For a man his size, he was very nimble. But I was like, all right, now I want you to switch your feet. Switch which one is facing forward. He couldn't do it. He could not. He tried to get in that 3-point stance, and he was falling over.
Wow.
Really?
Yes, because every time he lined up, it was left foot forward, right foot back, right hand down. Every single time. I asked him to switch it up. right foot forward, left foot back, left hand down. He couldn't do it.
Yeah, it's probably
Couldn't
like
do it.
swinging a golf club from the wrong side.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and so it was kind of one of those things of like, that's what we're trying to bring to the game here, is get these guys so that they're much more ambidextrous, and two, get their muscles to fire the way they're supposed to, because I'm working with a couple of basketball players right now, so a couple of high school athletes. And again, same issue. They're like, "Yeah, doc, I'm tight in my back. I don't really have a lot of pain, but I'm tight." And come to find out, I was like, "Dude, your glutes aren't firing at all. Nothing's happening there." I was like, "When you go to jump, how do you feel?" It's like, "Oh, just sluggish. Like I can't get up." And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Your hamstrings are chronically overfiring. Your glutes are doing absolutely nothing, and let's get that activated." And so we start doing some therapy there, get those muscles to activate. So same thing with the, like I would do with the fighters. And I had one kid, he was a 15-year-old kid, talked to his dad later that day. And I was like, "Hey, how's he doing?" He goes, "Well, he was 360 windmill dunking, so pretty good." I was like, "Awesome." So he goes, "Yeah, he could dunk before, but he has a lot more pop." And so, that's what we're trying to do with guys like the fighters, and those professional athletes is, let's make sure that you're mobile and decrease the kind of injuries that you're going to get. We had a wide receiver last year that I started working with. He started off the season on injured reserve. They were really worried because they were like, "Man, he's one of our best, he's really one of our top receivers. We really want to have him back out on the field." And they were worried he's going to miss the whole season. And, we were able to get him back out in 2 weeks with what we were doing.
Wow,
So,
that's incredible.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome.
So, I mean, it's interesting too, because it's not just, I always had in my head that, okay, you're going to see a chiropractor or you're going to see any doctor post injury.
Right.
It's because you got injured.
Right.
But it sounds like you offer the ability to just basically enhance performance through a lot of the stuff you do. Not just correct an injury.
Correct. I mean, it's one of those, if we can, I'm a big fan of injury prevention.
Right.
And so that's really why I really recommend, like, once you're out of the window of like, "Hey, I'm hurt," right? Let's keep at it. I found that on average, the average person needs about every 4 to 6 weeks. If you're a high-end athlete, it's every week.
Oh yeah.
Because the likelihood that you injure yourself, especially if you're actively playing, you're playing all the time, you're probably going to get an injury at some point, unless you maintain proper balance. Most of the time, the reason we get injured is because there's an imbalance somewhere. I can't tell you how many times I've rolled my ankles. But if, as a kid, again, things I wish I'd understood better as a teenager, then the likelihood that the injuries that I suffered would have been far lower. And it's much more so now for people who are older, right? Because you're not healing like you did when you were 18. You're 55 now, you're 60 now, or you're like most of us and you're in your 40s. It's like, guess what? You're not healing like you used to.
So I have a question for you, Jared. Like, obviously, and for those of you who don't live in Texas, we have a lot of allergies here. So if you have allergy issues, and we'll probably talk about it after break, but we have allergy issues, and I struggle specifically with lots of allergies. Like, that's one of my main things that makes me miserable. And I think there's some correlation here with like some of the ways that your body is reacting to things, etc.
Yeah.
So maybe after the break, you can tell us a little more about the allergy aspect, and if that's something that, with all the Texas crazy town, if you help with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's do that after the break, because that is a great topic that impacts so many people. So let's do that on the backside. Right now, Lennon, let's hit the break.
The Community Difference is a new series of shows powered by the Difference Radio live stream and podcast network. This series of shows was designed to highlight the unsung heroes that call our towns and communities home. And we wanted to create a platform that brings awareness to and reminds folks of the goodness that lives within so many of us. By working with the local community leaders, business owners, first responders, veterans, schools, and citizens who want to unite with a clear and selfless purpose, the Community Difference seeks to spotlight the people, events, and activities that are producing positive outcomes, inspirational stories, and incredible experiences. In a world that is consumed with negative press, media manipulation, and propaganda, the Difference, along with many others who believe and support the Difference, understands there is no better way to make the difference than to highlight the unsung heroes that call our towns and communities home. We are currently searching for local communities to be the focus of our shows, but before we can launch a show in your community, we need your help. We need you along with local business leaders, chambers of commerces, major nonprofits, online community group leaders, networking groups, etc., to join us in making the difference in helping your community be seen, be heard, and be remembered. So, if you would like to know how you, your business, school, social media community, church, or your favorite nonprofit organization can be a part of this unique and powerful program, reach out to us today and introduce yourself and let us know how you would like to contribute and bring awareness to the amazing people, places, and events that are making the difference in the community you love. You can call us at 972-866-4596 or email us at info@thedifferenceradio.com.
And now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back, and thanks to our sponsors. All right, so we were talking about allergies and what we can do as far as treatment around allergies. That was a great question, Jacqueline. So, Jared, I'll let you answer it.
I was gonna say, yeah, because Jared, I don't know if any of y'all have experienced this, but I'm super allergic to cedar. So the entire month of January, I am a miserable person to be around because I am sick as a dog because my allergies are so bad. Like I can barely breathe.
Nope, I hear you. I'm an allergy sufferer myself. I actually just mine actually just calmed back down. My 10-year-old hasn't probably breathed correctly in about 5 years. That poor kid. But I think I'm finally getting to the bottom of his. So, yeah. So allergies they're terrible. My first, like my out of the gate go-to as far as allergies go is you eat 1 tablespoon of local raw honey twice a day. Okay. That is the first thing I have all of my allergy sufferers do. So wherever it is that you are, wherever you are in the country, what have you, number one, it has to be local. Okay. It cannot
Do you
be
get them somewhere in Frisco?
What's that?
Little Elm. You get somewhere that's like Frisco, Little Elm.
Yeah. So find something that's been grown here, relatively close. I mean, it doesn't actually have to be, doesn't have to be Little Elm or Frisco, but just somewhere in the North Dallas area where it was harvested. That's where you want to get it from. Okay. Because you're reacting to the allergens that are local to you. So if I buy honey that was done, bottled in, Pennsylvania, but it's not going to be the same thing that I'm dealing with here. I may have allergies if I go to Pennsylvania, but they're going to be different than what I'm probably dealing with locally. And so that's number one. And then number two, it's like, okay, is there we want to check a food log. Do we want to, is there something that you're eating that you're reacting to? And then lastly, I use a lot of natural medicine in my practice. And I use a natural medicine to help fight off these allergic responses. Works really, really well. It's what I'm giving my 10-year-old, and because he's finally old enough to start taking some of these things, and he's really starting to notice a difference. He's not as stuffy. I know when mine congest up, like, okay, I start taking my honey, I start taking this natural medicine, and within about 4 days, I'm clear. And so usually I'm like, okay, I'm pretty solid at that point.
I was gonna say, because I know that when I did some chiropractic stuff in past, that plus the chiropractor that I went to at one point did acupuncture.
Yeah.
And so some of the acupuncture stuff also helps just because of the way it draws blood to certain areas, etc.
Well, and then depending on where your allergies are settling in, whether it's here or here, there's points in both of those places where if you press really, really hard, and it will hurt, it will cause the sinuses to open and allow them to drain. Another thing that will help too is the ears, your inner ear. The eustachian tube runs from your inner ear to the back of your throat. It's actually where your ear drains. And so people tend to get ear infections when that tube closes. It spasms and seizes up. And so when they put tubes in kids' ears, that's what they're doing, is they're shoving the tube through the tympanic membrane into that eustachian tube to force it to stay open. Now you can do that by toggling your ears, and they'll stay open, and you don't have to have tubes shoved down into your ears. The way I put it is I have 4 boys. I have dealt with 2 ear infections the entire time I've been a parent, and that's it. Because I was able to take care of them by preempting any actual infection, and so that's always been pretty fun and pretty cool. And I actually have one kid right now who's, I don't know if he's gotten if it's allergies or what, but like I looked in one of his ears, it was just red as can be, and I was like, oh well, that's fun. So we started treating him for it, and we haven't had to use antibiotics, which is wonderful. And he's getting better. So yeah, there's lots of ways in which to treat allergies. Most of which can be done at home, but if you need that little bit of help to figure out where is it coming from, that's where we can step in.
Nice.
Awesome. Well, I tell you what, Jared, we've gotten a nice education in the last half hour or so. So we appreciate all the input.
Absolutely.
So hopefully our audience has gained a little bit of insight as well. What I want to do right now is transition to our final segment of the show, and that is the rapid fire segment. So what it is, and we haven't prepared Jared at all for this. Ethan and Jacqueline kind of know because they've been on the show a bit, but I'm just going to fire out some questions.
You bet.
And we're going to go around the horn and we're going to answer them. And Lynn, and I'm going to bring you in since we only have 4 on the screen today. You get to participate as well. So since we are the Frisco Community Difference Show, first question is going to be, and I ask this one on pretty much every show because I love the different answers, but it's what's your favorite place to eat in Frisco? So Jared, you are on the hot seat. You get to answer first.
Let's see here. Hurtado's.
Hurtado's?
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually don't go out very often because I'm usually disappointed.
Is your wife that good of a cook, or are you?
My wife is amazing.
Okay, cool. So what you're saying is the next TGC event needs to be your wife cooking. Perfect. Heard that.
Well, if you'd come to any of my ribbon cuttings, my wife always bakes cookies.
All right. So Hurtado's and your wife's cookies.
Jacqueline, just talk to Michelle Hambrick about that.
Okay. There may be a future business opportunity there with your wife's cookies.
Yeah, there you go.
So,
Ethan, what's your favorite place?
I just went here yesterday. Actually, it was really good. It kind of hit a little bit close to home because I haven't been there in a while. But Babe's
Chicken, I like it.
Loved it.
Jacqueline?
Babe's is a good one. Gosh, there's so many great places to eat in Frisco, guys.
Yep.
I really like Craftway Kitchen. It's just such a good, they've got just great food and a little bit different spin on everything too. If you guys haven't had their butternut squash soup, it's to die for.
All right. I love it. And I've said Kenny's Burger Joint in the past, still love that place. But since I haven't been here in a week and a half now, I'm going to go with Portillo's. Portillo, even though it's technically not Frisco, it's right on the border.
It's close enough.
Yeah,
I was gonna say everything starts merging together food wise, like right there on those edges.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be exactly Frisco because it's us Frisco. Those of us who live in Frisco can frequent the places that are right on the border, so it's okay. Lennon, what you got?
Well, I was gonna go with Babe's, and Ethan stole that from me, but I'm gonna stick with it because I'm a country boy, and that I can make myself sick at Babe's.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, if people come to Texas and they've never eaten any kind of real Southern food, it's a great place for them to check out because it's about as Southern as you get, baby.
Yeah.
And you will not leave there like you didn't get enough. That's true.
Fat and happy is their mantra on the back end. Absolutely.
I was gonna say another good southern favorite in Frisco is Norma's. Norma's is really good too.
Oh, Norma's Cafe.
Yeah,
I like it.
That is really good. Do you know that? Did y'all know that Babes also has a steakhouse in Decatur called Sweetie Pies? And that's
Sweetie
all
Pie
they do.
Ribeye. That's right.
Yep, Sweetie Pies Ribeyes. They are awesome.
They actually own Bubba's too, which is down by Snyder Plaza. They had one in Frisco for a little bit. They ended up closing it, but they've got quite a few. They're very successful restaurant franchise. They got a lot of them.
Right.
Awesome. All right. So Frisco is known as Sports City, USA because of all the different headquarters that are here. I mean, you name it. Dallas Cowboys are here. Dallas Stars are here. PGA of America is here. FC Dallas is here. I don't know if I'm missing any, but I mean, that's a handful right there. So this is more of a personal answer since we're in Sports City, USA. It's a two-part question. What's your favorite sport to play and what's your favorite sport to watch? And they can be the same, but we'll go with that. Play and watch sports. Jared.
Favorite sport to play is basketball. My favorite sport to watch is actually football.
Okay, like it. Ethan, I know what your first answer can be, but go ahead and tell the audience.
All right. Favorite sport to play is hockey. You know, get your beer league in now that I'm retired. Got to go against a bunch of old people who can't skate. So makes me look like a star out there. And then
be careful, those are fighting words.
And then favorite sport to watch is also hockey, but football's a close second. I like to watch football as well, but go Stars.
Okay.
Can't tell.
Jacqueline?
So I'm horrible. I'm not very coordinated, y'all. So sports, I don't do real well playing those. If we're talking about arts, like I can play the piano, I can do all kinds of artistic stuff. I was super short my whole life. So like I was like my head was where everyone threw the ball. So I just don't do a lot of sports playing. But if I could play anything, it might be like baseball, softball kind of thing. And probably watching would be a toss up between baseball and hockey. Depends on if I want like leisurely sitting and kind of like watching America's game or fast paced, like move. Because I used to be married to my ex-husband was Canadian, and so I watch a lot of hockey. So I like hockey quite a bit.
Love it. So I'm going to go with the same answer Jared gave. My favorite sport to play is basketball. My favorite sport to watch is the NFL or football in general, not just NFL. A very close second, and this is a qualifier. That's my favorite sport to watch on TV. Watching it live, you can't beat hockey live. It's definitely the best sport to watch live. It's fastest out.
As long as they're actually checking each other. Because like for a little bit there, they got a little.
The sports changed a bit over the years, but they're still hitting, and the speed is second to none. So that's why I love it. Lennon, what you got?
Well, I want to keep this to a rapid fire answer, but I don't know that I can. My favorite sport to play, that's difficult because what I was good at was football, and I played until I was 41 competitively with full pads, minor league.
Wow.
I would, if I could play basketball, that would have been my favorite sport. I enjoyed basketball. I at 5'9" could dunk the basketball, but I couldn't dribble the basketball, so I wasn't out very good. I mean, if you could give it to me standing under the goal, I had you. If I had to dribble I wasn't going to make it. To watch, to be honest with y'all, I'm not a big pro sports person, just because of the prima donnas. I love college sports. I think there's a lot more, just heart and passion in college sports. But I would have to go with hockey. I think live hockey is probably the most entertaining and attention-grabbing sport that I've ever been to live.
Yep.
Well, we've got so many great minor league sports teams in Frisco that you can watch. And honestly, I almost rather watch them than some of the majors because you're right, Lyndon, like they can be a little bit dramatic and whatever. But like also you get to feel a little bit more intimate, like kind of old school. Like, I love to go to the Rough Riders game and sit pretty close, and like go to the all-you-can-eat porch and like go get hot dogs. I don't know. It sort of reminds me like old school America.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of why I'm excited. I'm excited about the Frisco Fighters because I've been to indoor games before, and you're right there on the action. It's faster pace. If the ball goes in the stands and you get it, you get to keep it. It's almost like you're involved in the game.
It
Well, I
is
was gonna say,
so
yeah, because
fun.
otherwise you have to sit in the nosebleed seats, right, in the Cowboys game or something like that. And I don't know, it's just not the same. I mean, we got such great TVs now. It's practically like being there when you're sitting on your couch.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Well, not to belabor the point here, but the Frisco Fighters are one of our sponsors, and we do have ticket giveaway opportunities once the season starts. So stay tuned for that. Guys, I hate to say it, but man, time flies when you're having fun, and we are out of time. So I just want to say thank you all for being on the show today. Jared, thank you for being on. It was great learning about you, about your business, and learning about, a few maladies that are out there. So why don't we do this? Let's go around the horn real quick, literally really quick. Jared, just let us know who you are, how we can get in touch with you, and what you do.
You bet. I'm Dr. Jared Wilson, Core Strength Wellness Center. We're at 1150 East El Dorado Parkway, Suite 300 in Little Elm. And, our number here is 972-292-9863. And just give us a call. We're here to help. We're here to help people get better, get their lives back, and avoid those surgeries. Because, once you're cut on, that's it. There's no going back.
Yep.
And
Avoid
a lot of people think that's the answer because they're told that that's the answer. But you have options. Take the time, explore them, talk to other. If not me, then talk to somebody else. You'll get that second opinion because there is a way to get this taken care of without surgery. So Brian, you should definitely call me so that I can take care of your knees.
Well, we'll talk about that. Like I said, I appreciate it, Jared, and we'll be talking after the show. Ethan.
Yep, absolutely. My name's Ethan Donovan, diamondcreativeagency.com or 469-247-6522. We do marketing, graphic design, video editing, and we offer free consulting calls. So give us a call and let me help your brand and your social media presence.
Thank you, sir. Jacqueline.
Jacqueline Kreider, PBJ Mortgage, make a mortgage simple, as simple as making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. PBJteam.com. And we would love to help you figure out any of your financing need when it comes to your house.
Thank you, ma'am. And I am Brian Poduska, owner of Real Property Management Focus, where we focus on your real estate investments. You can find us on www.realpmfocus.com. And I am the host of this show, and we are out of time. So once again, thank you guys all for joining this week. We had some fun. We didn't really dive into social media as much as we wanted to, but we got a great education on, any sort of chiropractic needs. So thanks again for that, Jared. Until next week, have a great weekend. Stay safe, and we'll see you next Thursday. Bye, all.
Thank you for watching today's show.
The Community Difference Frisco is made possible by Brian Poduska, owner of Real Property Management Focus. Paul Fisher, loan officer with Certainty Home Lending. Debbie Watson with Team Watson Redeemers. Kendra Kennedy with Stewart Title. Ethan Donovan with Donovan Creative Agency. Jacqueline Kreider with PBJ Mortgage. Chance Post with Total Care ER and Total Care Networking. Matt England, Director of Corporate Partnerships, and Andre Coles, head coach of the Frisco Fighters Arena football team.